Welcome to Sports from the Couch.
I gotta say, it's the stupidest thing in sports.
With your host, Mike Mercado.
Players cannot stand him. Coaches cannot stand him. Most importantly, the fans can't stand him.
Brought to you by Mercado Airwaves.
I'm gonna say it once, and hopefully I'm wrong, but it's a disaster waiting to happen.
That is so bad, that is absolutely brutal.
Hello and welcome in, friends, to another edition of Sports from the Couch here on Mercado Airwaves. I'm your host, Mike Mercado. I want to thank you so much for making us a part of your day. We are back from vacation, from our wedding, from our little mini honeymoon. Thank you, everybody, for all the love and support that you have shown me and the missus. We have a lot to get into on today's edition. Matt Nagy couldn't help himself. He put his foot in his mouth, and we got to see what exactly the coach of the Chicago Bears had to say after their victory over the Detroit Lions this past Sunday. But before we get into all that, let's take care of some housekeeping notes. You can follow us all over the universe. I'm on Twitter at Mike M Media. I'm also on Instagram at Mike Mercado Media. You could be interactive with the show on Twitter at Couch Sports Talk. And you could be interactive with our radio show, Sports Cubicle, over on WCPT by following us on Twitter at Sports Cubicle TV. Shout outs to Jerry Riles and the Rewind Sports 60. We're over there on Roku. We're also on YouTube. Check out the video version of the podcast over at youtube.com/Mercado Airwaves Network. Hit that little bell and subscribe button to be notified every single time we upload a brand new episode. We're also on all major podcast platforms at Mercado Airwaves, so make sure you guys support us there as well. We're on Patreon. If you would like to support us, buying us a cup of coffee, becoming a producer of our shows, or if you would like to have your ad right here on all our shows, check us out at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. We also have swag over at teespring.com/Mercado Airwaves. Check us out on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves, facebook.com/Mercado Airwaves, and keep up to date with everything we're doing on the network with the True Crime Show, the podcast of the Gone Missing podcast, our sister podcast, Murder Mysteries and More, the Good Brothers, Two Nerds of a Feather podcast, of course, here, Sports from the Couch, and the Sports Cubicle. Following us on Twitter at Mercado Airwaves. All right, so the Chicago Bears beat the Detroit Lions this past Sunday, 24-14, and we have some things we need to talk about because Matt Nagy went out there and had an interesting press conference. So we have the radio show, the Sports Cubicle, over on WCPT Sunday nights here in Chicago, and we didn't get a chance to hear what the coach had to say in his post-conference when it came to talking to the media here in Chicago. And one of the big stories has been, what is Matt Nagy going to do with the offensive play calling? We knew that this has been the biggest form of contention here in Chicago, that they're not moving the pocket, they're not putting the right protection, they're not calling the right type of scheme. He's not under center. A lot of whatever complaint you had, we've seen through the game plans. But this past Sunday, it looked like Bill Lazor was the man in charge. And for all intents and purposes, that was the case because he was the offensive play caller of this game. We're going to get into all that. So there's actually some audio we want to listen to. Let's listen straight from the coach himself, and we'll dissect it after he's finished.
So, just to clarify, can you say who called the plays and if there was a change, what impact it had on the game?
Yeah, so in regards to the play calling, Bill did a great job, and I think that, at the same point in time, it's important that we understand that I felt good out there as a head coach, and that's real, but we all get together, we talk through how we're going to call the game, and we do that when I'm calling plays too. You know what I mean? Us as a staff, we get together, and so I think that that's important for everybody to know, is that when we build a game plan together, whether it's the offensive line coach with Juan or whether it's our tight ends coach or wide receiver coach, et cetera, we do it together, and in the end, I get a great opportunity to say, yes, I like this, or no, I don't, as the head coach, right, in charge of all that. That's real. Right. So when you do that, now I also go back to saying last week, right, or this last week was, hey, whatever I need to do to try to be the best head coach for the Chicago Bears, whatever that is, I don't care. I just want us to have the best opportunity to win. And I feel like Bill did a great job today. Our players did a great job. Our coaching staff did a great job. And we played collectively together as a team, not just players, not just coaches, everybody. And when you have that, it's a good feeling. So we'll continue to just keep talking. We'll continue but again, with all due respect, that it's going to be the last time I talk about it.
It won't be. It won't be because, rightfully so, the Bears media will keep asking you these questions about what's going on with this offense because you don't make it easy on yourself, Coach Matt Nagy. This could have been simply done in 3 sentences, right? Justin Fields played a nice game. Bill Lazor called a good game. It was a nice victory for our team. Boom. Done with. Does Bill Belichick have these type of press conferences? How about Andy Reid? Sean Payton? Go down the list of all the coaches you like in the NFL. This was put up on a platter for him. And he made it more difficult. And that's not the only thing that Coach Matt Nagy decided to say. This is from Yahoo Sports. We got to see where Andy's at health-wise, Nagy said. When Andy's healthy, he's our starter. Justin's the 2. And then he confirmed that after being asked the question again, if the quarterback will be Andy Dalton if he's healthy against the Las Vegas Raiders. Why is this so difficult for Matt Nagy? Is it his ego? Look, you have to have some form of an ego to do, this job. To be a podcaster, to do radio, to do anything successfully, you do have to have a little bit of an ego, some self-pride. Right? You don't want to have too much of it, though. You don't want to take yourself too seriously, especially the level that you're on. But here we are. Everything coy, everything secretive, everything confusing. Isn't it good for Nagy if Justin Fields is good? If Bill Lazor is calling a good game plan? You are the CEO of this organization when it comes to the football team. What's going on the field, the scheme, all of it. There was a lot of chatter and nothing said. Yeah, no, duh. It goes through you. You're the head coach. Why are you telling me this? Now, I do have a theory. If you think that Matt Nagy and the Chicago Bears are just incompetent and that this is just how they're ran, I can't blame you. And I can't say that you're necessarily wrong. There is a good chance that they're just putting themselves in this situation, that he's just shooting himself in the foot over and over again. But we have to allow the possibility that stupid like a fox, right? Not John Fox, stupid like a fox. Maybe this is all to keep us distracted from how bad the secondary is. Maybe this is to distract us from Eddie Goldman not having a good game or having a tough time coming back. Akeem Hicks hurt. Allen Robinson really not being part of the game plan. It taking 4 weeks to get to this point. Could this all just be a smokescreen? Can this be Nagy saying, I'm just going to say the most ridiculous stuff ever so nobody talks about the actual important things that are happening, that my team is very undisciplined and is going to cost us games? You would think that with a career on the line for Matt Nagy, because he's not going to get another head coaching job right away if this doesn't work out, and if it's such a headache and all this was just because they were dumb. Isn't it good? Isn't it beneficial for Matt Nagy, for Justin Fields to be good, for there to be a good game plan, to do what they did this past week with Detroit? You have a bad offensive line that's played bad. What do? What cures that? Run the ball. Extra protection. Bring more men into that line for protection to run downhill. And, you have a really good running back in David Montgomery, who luckily it seems like it wasn't a torn ACL, but, that's going to be something to see, especially if Damian Williams is hurt. What's going on with Tariq Cohen? Why is he on the PUP list? Is he going to play this season? And the roster and all this that's happening, it also gets me thinking, where's Ryan Pace in all this? The coach is the coach, right? Matt Nagy is going to make all the calls. He's going to tell you who's on the starting lineup, where the depth chart is. But is Ryan Pace cool with this? Are they that devoted to the plan? Are the McCaskies really just that much out of it? They don't care. Let the football people, quote unquote, the football people do it. It's what if they're the wrong people, by the way? Are you just going to keep waiting? Look at it. The Bears won this game. The Bears beat Detroit. The Bears had a nice really good performance from their young quarterback who has things to work on. And that's good. That's okay. Wonderful performances from guys on defense. Beat a team they're supposed to beat. But this is what we're talking about. And it kind of goes back to the point of, well, maybe he's doing this on purpose. You're distracting us from a win? You can't just give your guy credit. They won that game, and this is what we're talking about. And I hate equating things to real life, like our jobs, as if you can. There is no similarity. But just imagine if any CEO, any boss says something like that. How discouraging is it? How much of a bummer is it? And then to be so hard-headed to say Andy Dalton's our starter next week. How can you possibly say that with a straight face? Look at Andy Dalton. There's no hate on Andy Dalton. I think he's the pro's pro. And if it wasn't for where this organization is, that they have a young quarterback that looks that he's got the goods to be a pro, Andy Dalton would have been wonderful for the Bears. But that's not the case. That's not where they're at. And they continuously make this more difficult. The head coach makes this more difficult. Look around the NFL. It shouldn't be a shocker. It shouldn't be this novel thing to see the Bears put up points, having 5 plays of 20 more yards. NFL teams do that. You're finally catching up to the league. And every time you do, the guy that's in charge is doing a bow and head statement after statement after statement. And for what? To show that his scheme is going to work? Look at, more often than not, coaches in the NFL don't call their own plays. They're not out there like some of these other college organizations and programs. He doesn't need to do that. His value needs to be Justin Fields is good. He's the guy that found Justin Fields. He's the guy that found Bill Lazor that's developing Justin Fields. That's where Matt Nagy's attention should be. His intention should be not to do this weird secretive thing at quarterback, not to try to get his game plan over. And it does worry me, and I think it is in play, that he takes back play calling duty, especially if Andy Dalton comes back. Now, that could just be cynicism. That could just be being a Bears fan, being here in Chicago for so many years, kind of seeing how these kind of things play out. But I don't think it's crazy to think that Matt Nagy will take back play calling duty. I think that's in the cards. I don't need anything special. I don't need any weird gimmicks. I need you to develop this quarterback. I need you to put a competent offense out there. I need you to be competitive, and I need you to stop making things so darn difficult. It makes no sense. Again, you guys can let me know all over social media. I'm on Twitter at Mike M Media, Instagram, Mike Mercado Media, and of course, here on Sports from the Couch on Couch Sports Talk on Twitter, and also on the radio show over at the Sports Cubicle. Follow us on Twitter at Sports Cubicle TV. Let me know. Are you frustrated at what's been going on with Matt Nagy? I mean, I don't understand this foolishness that it seems to be optics are important, perception's important. And it looks like he's more worried about that Denny's menu he calls a playbook and a play sheet than it is the development of his team, of his quarterback. Because here's the truth. Justin Fields, if he's good, will overcome this. And not just overcome this, he'll outlast Matt Nagy. That's what's so frustrating. So why not get on board? Why not do everything possible to make sure all this goes smoothly? Why not be transparent? For an NFL coach, because we know how annoyingly it is that NFL coaches aren't going to tell you anything. Because it really makes that big of a difference, right? So I think the Bears are in a fascinating spot where they got a lot of nice talent. Darnell Mooney, David Montgomery, Justin Fields. We'll see what happens with Allen Robinson. Is Cole Kmet ever going to be part of a game plan? Like, there's plenty of interest in this team, but we're talking about their head coach doing something dumb over and over again. And this isn't just meatball fandom. This isn't just local radio that's too close. This is national media that is finding it a talking point, a hot topic for them. That's when you know it's real. that it's not just local, that local's been talking about this forever, but now national media has caught up. The Bears are going to be in Vegas. Justin Fields should be the starting quarterback for the Bears. It shouldn't matter where Andy Dalton is. In fact, you are in a wonderful position if Andy Dalton's your 2. All things being equal in this league, why the hell not? That should be where you're at. And putting your team in a good spot to win. Instead of this foolishness. But let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Is Justin Fields the quarterback for the Chicago Bears? Will he be the number 1 QB heading into Vegas? Or will it be Andy Dalton? What did you think about Matt Nagy's comments about Bill Lazor and the offense? Was it a little weird? It's a little awkward of a press conference. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Follow us all over the universe. I'm on Twitter at MikeMMedia, Instagram, Mike Mercado Media. You can follow the show on Twitter at Couch Sports Talk. We're on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves, and you can follow the radio show, The Sports Cubicle, every Sunday night here in Chicago on WCPT 820 AM, 9 p.m. Podcast comes up right Monday morning. Follow us on Twitter at Sports Cubicle TV. If you want to see the video version of all our podcasts here on Sports from the Couch and everything else on the network, subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/Mercado Airwaves Network, and hit that little bell to be notified every single time we upload a brand new episode. We're also on all major podcast platforms, so please like, rate, review, and shares wherever you get your favorite podcasts at Mercado Airwaves. We're also on ROKU. Shout out to Jerry Riles and the Rewind Sports 60. Check us out over there at the Rewind Sports 60. If you would like to support us, become a producer, buy us a cup of coffee, visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. You can also see how you get your ad put right here on Sports from the Couch. We also have swag over at teespring.com/Mercado Airwaves. Follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves Network, and keep up to date with all our podcasts. The Two Nerds of a Feather podcast, The Good Brothers, The Gone Missing podcast, Murder Mysteries, and more. The Sports Cubicle, Sports from the Couch, our interviews with athletes and celebrities by following us on Twitter at Mercado Airwaves. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy all the games. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. We will see you next time here on Sports from the Couch and the Mercado Airwaves Network. I'm Mike Mercado.